Hello there, this is TPA017 and today we'll be having a look at a few more games that came out on Steam in February 2025, so last month. So let's get into it, shall we? We've got 10 games to look at today, so we'll get into it. So first up we have Hearts of the Machine by Arcen Games, that released in early access right at the end of January, 31st of January / 1st of February, depends on your time zone. So it's a grand strategy RPG set in a cyberpunk world. You're an AI built in a legal laboratory. You build your power, expand your reach with the help of different factions in the city, or by going alone. It's worth keeping an eye on. Arcen's been around for about 20 years, probably even more, I think. They're the ones behind the AI War series and a few others. So let's have a look. Yes, interesting little title for that one. So, system requirements. It's currently available for Windows and Mac, $29.99 US. That's an all price. It's currently on sale last time I checked though. And system requirements are Windows 10 64-bit with an Intel Core i5 760 processor or an AMD Phenom 2 X4965. They're both pretty old at this point. 6 gigabytes of RAM, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 550 Ti or an AMD Radeon HD 7770, and 5 gigabytes of free space, so really not too bad. And on the Mac side, Mac OS X 10.9 Mavericks, Intel Core i5 760 and AMD Phenom 2 X4965 again. 6 gigs of RAM, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 550 Ti or AMD Radeon HD 770 Ti, and 12 gigabytes of free space. So yeah, it shouldn't have any trouble running it. Might be a bit CPU heavy in the later stages of the game though. Yeah, strategy game, so I'll say like that. So let's continue. Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Vector by Jump Over the Age. So this is the sequel to the Citizen Sleeper, which came out 2 years ago, I believe. Did really well. So it's a sci-fi dice-based RPG about an android on the run from his past, and what it's pursues, he's got nothing more than a stolen ship, some various contracts to do, and it's got a very pretty little comic book style visuals. I believe I had a professional artist to do it. I can't remember their name off the top of my head though. So let's have a look. and as you can tell, it's on quite a few different platforms, so let's have a look at them. So we've got Windows and Mac, the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and the Switch. $24.99 US. I've had to convert that roughly. It might be a cent above or below. System requirements: Windows 10, 64-bit, 64-bit processor, 4GB RAM, DirectX 11 capable GPU, which is pretty much all of them these days, and 2GB free space. So you shouldn't have any trouble running it. Same on the Mac side: Mac OS X 10.10 Mavericks, Apple or Intel CPU, 4GB RAM, 2GB for GPU, and 2GB free space. So shouldn't have any trouble in it. Next up, Border Pioneer by Yahzj Games. It's a pixel card-based real-time strategy, city builder / tower defense, various events, buildings, upgrades, and the like, and you fight increasingly dangerous / difficult enemy attacks at the end of each month. In game months, I mean, not real life months. So let's have a look. Yes, that's Border Pioneer. So that's for Windows and Mac, $14.99 US. System requirements, they're not too bad. Windows 7, 64-bit, Intel Core i5 4400, 8GB RAM, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1060, and 1GB free space. I'd say it's pretty similar on the Mac side. macOS 10.15 Catalina, 4GB RAM. I'd assume similar to the Windows side, so you shouldn't have any trouble running it. So, next up, Slender Threads by Blyts. So this is a hand-drawn point-and-click horror title. Yeah, plays a travelling salesman trying to stop a series of mysterious thefts in a town. It's a bit of a shorter little one, but it's a very pretty little thing, I think. So let's have a look.
As soon as I arrived in town, things felt wrong. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm having these disturbing visions. There's a darkness hunting the people in this place. And you, Lena, you seem to be the only person who understands it.
Why don't you run? Just get away from here.
It feels like something's holding me here. Like even if I tried to leave, I couldn't.
Harvey, you were always going to stay. You were always going to suffer. And you were always going to find me.
Then what happens now?
Whatever they want.
Yeah, not a place I would live, but anyway. So, Windows Mac Linux, $19.99 US. System requirements: Windows 7, 8, 8.1 or 10, or Ubuntu 12.04 or later. Intel Core i3, 4GB RAM, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 460, that's quite old at this point, or equivalent, and 3 gigabytes free space. So really the main problem might be the free space, but even then that's not an issue. Next side, Mac OS X 10.8 Mountain Lion, Intel Core i5 CPU, 4 gigabytes RAM, NVIDIA GeForce GT 700M, and 3 gigabytes of free space. So yeah, not a problem, not a problem at all. So next up, DoorKickers 2 Task Force North. So this is by Yahzj Games. It entered early access in November 2020, and it's the sequel to 2014's DoorKickers, which did really well for itself. So it's a top-down, turn-based, tactical title. You control a special forces squad with access to night vision goggles, light machine guns, breaching charges, and you can battle across the campaign. There's also co-op multiplayer and a map editor as well. So if you're into that kind of thing, then let's have a look at the trailer.
Okay, so maybe let's clear these rooms first.
I'm just gonna blow up this wall.
I'll follow you with my support.
You ready? Go, go, go!
Oh no.
Yeah, so that's that trailer. So platforms, Windows and Mac, $24.99 US. System requirements, Windows 10, quad-core CPU, 4 gigabytes RAM, Intel HD graphics 630 or newer, and 2 gigabytes free space. So, not too bad at all. Next side, Mac OS 10.14 Mojave, Apple M1 or Intel from 2018 or later, 2 gigabytes of RAM. I'd probably defer to the Windows one on that one, say 4. But yes, so you shouldn't have any trouble running it. So let's continue on. Dawnfolk, formerly Lure, by Darenn Keller. So this is a minimalistic tile-based city builder. Rebuild your kingdom and use the help of Lure, the little sprite there, to help fend off the darkness, as well as managing various events and choices. It's quite an interesting little thing. So let's have a look.
Hi, I'm Darenn. I've worked for a few years in the AAA gaming industry, but 3 years ago, I decided to take a different path. I wanted to create something truly special. A game I've dreamed of making since I was a kid. Today, I'm excited to introduce Dawnfolk, a survival building game about bringing light back to a dark world. It's relaxing and accessible, but still challenging for those who love strategy. The world of Dawnfolk is alive, shaped by your choices and filled with creatures and secrets waiting to be uncovered. It's about exploration, experimentation, and the joy of figuring things out. This game is everything I want it to be, and it's a part of me too. Dawnfolk is available now on Steam and itch, and you can play on your PC or your Steam Deck. Thanks and have fun.
So that one's Dawnfolk, available for Windows, Mac, Linux. Now, there was a Switch version announced, but that was last year, so I'm not sure about if that's still happening or not. So, $14.99 US, Windows 7 64-bit, or Ubuntu 18.04, dual-core 2GHz CPU, 8GB RAM, 2GB for GPU, 2GB for space. Shouldn't have any trouble running it. Similar on the Mac side, macOS 10.12 Sierra, Apple M1 or Intel Core M, 8GB RAM, 2GB for GPU, and 2GB for space. So, let's continue on. Snow Ultimate Freeriding by Studio Gauntlet. This is a bit of an interesting little one. A minimalistic free skiing game, procedurally generates mountains, different skins, as well as a Zen mode and an online scoreboard. So let's have a look. Very pretty little thing, even though I've never seen the sun in my life. So that one's Windows and Mac, $11.99 US. Windows 10, Intel Core i3 or AMD equivalent, 4GB RAM and 400MB of free space. So yeah, shouldn't have any trouble running it. Mac side, macOS 11 Big Sur, Apple M1 or Intel Core M, 4GB RAM and 400MB of free space. So shouldn't have any trouble. Next up, Tiny Pasture by CaveLiquid. Now, I've cut out some of the desktop of the screenshot on the right. I don't really feel comfortable showing off someone else's desktop without their permission. So this is a small farming simulator. Sits at the bottom of your screen. There's various common farm animals, foxes, slimes, zombies. Farm exchange when I was a kid, as well as buildings and decorations. So it's a bit of an idle game. So let's have a look. Yes, that was done really well for itself. I think it had over 3,000 current players last time I checked. So that one's Windows Mac, $9.99 US. System requirements, Windows 10, Intel Core i3, dual core, 4GB RAM, Intel HD graphics 3000, that's pretty old at this point, 500MB free space. Similar on the Mac side, Mac OS X 10.9 Mavericks, 2.6GHz Intel Core i3, 4 gigs RAM and 512 megabytes of free space. So yeah, shouldn't have any trouble running it. Die in the Dungeon. Die in this case being DICE. Developed by ATICO. Entered early access in February 2025. You might have played the little prologue they did, Die in the Dungeon Origins. That was a couple of years ago. So this is a deck builder slash dice-based roguelike with different dice have different effects as well as different encounters and events. Variety of enemies as well. Quite interesting little thing. So let's have a look. So that's that one there, Die in the Dungeon. So Windows and Mac, $12.99 US. System requirements, Windows 7, 8, 10 or 10, 64-bit. Intel Core i3, 3 GHz, 4 GB RAM. NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1030. That's pretty basic at this point. And 1 GB free space. On the next side, Mac OS X 10.7 Lion. A 1.3 GHz CPU, 1 GB RAM, 1 GB for GPU, and 500 megabytes of free space. But yeah, you shouldn't have any trouble running it regardless. So next up, so this is the last one for tonight. FACEMINER by Wristwork. So this is a incremental management clicker title about harvesting biometric data. So like facial data and the like, while upgrading your hardware and software and managing expenses like electricity, cooling and all that kind of thing. I don't quite get it, but it got a little bit of attention, so let's have a look. So that's FACEMINER. So Windows, Mac, Linux, $7.99 US. Windows 10 or Ubuntu 12.04. Intel Core i3 CPU, 1 GB RAM, 128 megabytes for GPU, 1 GB free space. So basically, it's can you watch this video? If so, you're able to run it. On Mac side, macOS 10.11 El Capitan. Apple M1 or Intel Core i3, 1 GB RAM, 128 megabyte for GPU, and metal capable, so anything after 2011, and 1 GB free space. So that's it for tonight. I'll try to get the next video out a bit quicker, but yeah. So until then, thank you for watching, and yeah, I'll see you next month.